Consider this, the 1971 Plymouth GTX 440 plus 6, a V8 powerhouse. Surges from 0 to 60 in just 5.7 seconds and conquers the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds. Doesn't that speed thrill you? In the 1970s, amidst stifling emissions laws, this 385 horsepower Titan outran Corvettes, cementing its legend. This video unveils 12 forgotten muscle cars, revealing their raw power, rare stories, and untapped legacy. You'll discover engineering marvels, tales that ignite passion. Number 12. 1974 AMC Javelin AMX 401. The 1974 AMC Javelin AMX 401 was AMC's fierce jab at Detroit's Giants, a car that refused to bow down. It packed a monstrous 401 cubic inch V8, pumping out 255 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque, hitting 0 to 60 in 8 seconds and the quarter mile in 16 seconds. Its wide fenders, long hood, and aggressive stance made it look like a predator ready to pounce, while the 4-speed manual with a Hurst shifter or Chrysler-built automatic handled its raw power with ease. Inside, bucket seats and a wraparound dashboard gave it a cockpit feel, perfect for late-night street runs under the stars. Only a few thousand were made before AMC pulled the plug in '74, drowned by the rise of fuel-efficient compacts. Back then, this speed was off the charts. Not much by today's standards, but in the '70s it was a total game-changer, leaving Mustangs eating dust on the drag strip. A guy from Ohio once told me his uncle raced one down Route 66, outrunning a cop car with the V8's roar splitting the night air. Legend has it he hid it in a barn for years to dodge the heat. In Japan, this beast would have stolen the show at Yokohama car meets, its bold design parked next to JDM Legends, turning heads with its sheer presence. The 401's 9.5:1 compression ratio and dual exhaust gave it a growl that could wake a ghost town, but AMC's small budget and the era's shift to economy cars buried it. This wasn't just a car, it was a forgotten warrior, a machine with a soul forged in fire, built to dominate but left to fade into the shadows of muscle car history. Number 11. 1976 Dodge Aspen RT 360. The 1976 Dodge Aspen RT 360 was Dodge's gritty last stand in a dying muscle car era, stepping up after the Dart's exit. It housed a 360 cubic inch V8 with 170 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in 9.1 seconds, and the quarter mile in 16.8 seconds at a top speed of 115 miles per hour. For the mid-70s, when emissions rules choked engines to death, that was pure, unfiltered adrenaline. Sporty stripes, a blackout grille, and a tuned suspension gave it a rebel's edge, while the 3-speed automatic shifted with precision under pressure. Only 18,000 RTs were built over 5 years amid 500,000 Aspens, but rust issues and recalls tanked its reputation fast. Back then, this speed was jaw-dropping. Not huge now, but in '76, it was a beast that defied the odds of a suffocating era. A buddy's dad in Texas bragged that his RT smoked a souped-up Nova on a dusty back road, the V8's rumble shaking the ground as tires screeched. Locals still bring it up at car meets. American drag strips would have crowned it a king, and Japan's car enthusiasts would have lost it over its bold lines at a Tokyo showdown. Its radial-tuned suspension kept it glued to the road, a nimble fighter in a sea of bloated cars, with a compact size that punched way above its weight. But the muscle era's end and Dodge's reliability woes pushed it into obscurity. This was a scrappy underdog, a car with a fiery heart that fought to keep the V8 dream alive when others threw in the towel. Its low price today hides a sleeper, a diamond in the rough, waiting for someone to bring its roaring glory back to the streets where it belongs. Number 10. 1972 Ford Galaxie 500. The 1972 Ford Galaxie 500 was a hulking giant with a jet-age soul that refused to be tamed. Its 429 cubic inch V8, with up to 365 horsepower in rare dual-carb setups, powered it to 0 to 60 in 9 seconds, and the quarter mile in 17.4 seconds. Those iconic round taillights, a 50s throwback, gave it a swagger that turned heads, while the XL trim, bucket seats, and a center console put it on par with Chevy's SS. Weighing nearly 2 tons, it wasn't built for tight corners, but its torque made it a highway conqueror that could eat miles for breakfast. Only a handful got the big engines, making it a rare unicorn even back then. Back then, this speed was mind-blowing. Not much now, but in '72, it was a monster that ruled the roads. An old racer from California told me his Galaxie towed a trailer up a mountain pass, the V8 roaring like a lion as it powered through. Folks still swear by that story at local car meets. American road trips on Route 66 would have been legendary in this beast, and Japan's classic car fans would have worshipped its bold stance at a Kyoto meet. The 429's raw power, paired with a 4-speed manual or 3-speed auto, delivered a punch that smaller cars couldn't dream of matching. Its plush interior with a tachometer and luxury options screamed 70s excess with muscle to back it up. Ford's shift to LTD models in '75 and the market's downsizing buried it. This was a forgotten giant, a car that carried legends in its frame, a rolling monument to an era waiting for someone to revive its thunderous legacy on the open road. Number 9. 1973 Ford Gran Torino Sport 429. The 1973 Ford Gran Torino Sport 429 was a wolf in sleek clothing, howling when others went quiet. Its 429 cubic inch V8 spat out 360 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in 8 to 10 seconds, and the quarter mile in 16 seconds, with a top speed of 130 miles per hour. That wide grille, 4-round headlights, and sleek sports roof made it a head-turner, but it never stole the Mustang's crown. Inside, breathable vinyl seats and optional wood trim blended comfort with power, while Ford's competition suspension kept it steady on the curves. Front disc brakes added a safety edge to its raw performance. Back then, this speed was unreal. Not huge today, but in '73, it was a highway terror that owned the asphalt. A mechanic in Detroit said his buddy's Torino outran a Challenger on a bet. The V8's torque leaving tire marks for miles as the crowd went wild, still a legend in those parts. American drag strips would have crowned it king, and Japan's car meets would have showcased its swagger next to skylines at an Osaka event. Only a few thousand got the 429, and Ford's focus on smaller cars left it in the dust. The Gran Torino's high torque and smooth ride made it a road trip legend, a car you could live in while dominating the streets. But the muscle era's end killed its fame, burying a hero that could have ruled the decade. This was a machine with a heart of fire, a forgotten champ with a story of speed and style, waiting for someone to roar its name back to life on the highways where it was born to shine. Number 8. 1970 Oldsmobile Rallye 350. The 1970 Oldsmobile Rallye 350 was a screaming yellow rocket that flipped the bird at insurance hikes with style. Its 350 cubic inch V8, pumping out 310 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, blasted to 0 to 60 in 7 seconds and the quarter mile in 15.27 seconds at 94 miles per hour. Only 3,547 were built, and that in-your-face yellow paint, covering even the bumpers, made it a love-it-or-hate-it machine that stood out like a sore thumb. Dealers swapped bumpers for chrome to move units, but the 4-speed Muncie manual or 3-speed auto, paired with a 3.23-to-1 rear axle, turned it into a thrill ride that hugged the curves. Sporty suspension and power disc brakes gave it the handling of a champ, perfect for tearing up back roads. Back then, this speed was off the charts. Not much by today's standards, but in '70, it was a drag strip demon that left jaws on the floor and rivals in the dust. A guy in Florida told me his uncle raced one against a Pontiac GTO, winning with a cloud of smoke, the V8's howl echoing through the night as the crowd lost their minds, still a tale told at local dives. American racers would have torn up strips with it, and Japan's JDM crowd would have gone nuts over its wild style at a Tokyo meet, parking it next to their prized imports. Oldsmobile's luxury image and the car's niche timing kept it under the radar, a budget muscle car with guts that deserved a spotlight. Its bold design, raw power, and ahead-of-its-time vibe were buried by a market that couldn't handle its edge, leaving it a yellow thunderbolt waiting for someone to resurrect its untamed spirit on the streets. Number 7. 1971 Ford Torino Cobra 429 SCJ. The 1971 Ford Torino Cobra 429 SCJ was a hidden predator lurking in Ford's lineup, ready to pounce. Its 429 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8 with 370 horsepower ripped to 0 to 60 in 6.0 to 6.5 seconds and the quarter mile in 14.5 seconds at 102 miles per hour. Only 3,054 Cobras rolled out among 326,463 Torinos, a rare gem lost in a sea of variants that diluted its fame. The Ram Air intake and 4-speed manual transformed it into a drag strip king, but Ford's cluttered Torino lineup stole its thunder, leaving it overshadowed. Back then, this speed was mind-blowing. Not huge today, but in '71, it was a road warrior that owned the asphalt with authority. An old-timer in Arizona swore his Cobra outran a cop chase, the V8's roar shaking the desert as he dodged bullets, a story that's become desert folklore. True or not, American gearheads would have lived for its power on the Strip, and Japan's car shows would have lit up with its bold stance at a Nagoya event, parked proudly among JDM royalty. The SCJ's tuned setup, with enhanced airflow and a guttural growl, made it a monster, a car built to dominate. Emissions laws and market shifts buried it, a potential '70s ruler lost to history's shuffle. Its sleek design and savage performance were pure poetry, a forgotten king with a V8 heart that still pumps adrenaline. This was a machine forged for glory, left to fade as the world moved on too fast, waiting for a gearhead to reclaim its legacy on the highways where it was born to reign supreme. Number 6. 1970 AMC Rebel Machine. The 1970 AMC Rebel Machine was a red, white, and blue bruiser that AMC unleashed to take on the big dogs of Detroit. Its 390 cubic inch V8 churned out 340 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque, hitting 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds and the quarter mile in 14.4 seconds at 99 miles per hour. Only 2,326 were made, with the first 1,000 sporting a patriotic paint job that screamed American muscle from every angle. The 4-speed manual with a Hurst shifter or optional automatic gave it teeth, while a beefed-up suspension, thicker anti-roll bars, and power-assisted front brakes kept it planted during wild runs. Back then, This speed was off the charts, not much by today's standards, but in '70, it was a drag strip terror that left competitors reeling. A guy in Michigan said his dad raced one at a Dallas event, smoking a Mustang Mach 1, the V8's rumble shaking the stands as the crowd roared with excitement. Still a family legend. American racers would have loved its raw power on local strips, and Japan's enthusiasts would have showcased it at a Yokohama meet, its bold design standing tall next to JDM icons. AMC's underdog status and fierce rivalry from Pontiac GTOs and Dodge Chargers buried it. Despite its fierce spirit and unique trim, the Rebel Machine's custom gauges, Hurst shifter, and performance ethos inside made it a driver's dream, a car built to dominate but forgotten by the masses. This was a machine with a heart of steel, a forgotten warrior that fought against the odds, waiting for someone to revive its patriotic roar on the streets, where it was born to shine and reclaim its rightful place in muscle car history. Number 5, 1970, Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 429CJ. The 1970 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 429CJ was Mercury's stealthy ace, a car that outclassed its Ford siblings with swagger. Its 429 cubic inch V8 delivered 370 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds, and the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds at 100 miles per hour. A 4-speed manual with a 3.5 to 1 rear axle ratio, plus a competition handling package with wide tires, made it a track monster, while the optional drag pack bumped it to 375 horsepower with a Detroit locker differential for unbeatable traction. Back then, this speed was unreal. Not huge today, but in '70, it was a drag strip king that left rivals in awe. A collector in Nevada told me his uncle raced one against a Torino Cobra, winning by a hair, the V8's roar echoing through the desert as the crowd cheered, a tale that still gets told. American drag strips would have bowed to its power, and Japan's car meets would have lit up with its vibrant colors at an Osaka event, its sleek lines turning heads. Mercury's focus on luxury and Ford's dominance buried it, despite its aerodynamic edge with a functional hood scoop and rear wing. The Cyclone's long, flowing body and simple stripes in bold hues like blue and orange gave it style, while round gauges angled toward the driver created a cockpit vibe. This was a car built to dominate, a forgotten champ with a V8 heart that still beats strong, equipped with a chin spoiler and enhanced brakes for high-speed stability. Its rarity and raw power were lost to history, waiting for someone to reclaim its legacy on the roads where it was born to rule. A hidden gem ready to roar back to life. Number 4, 1971 Dodge SuperBee 446 pack. The 1971 Dodge SuperBee 446 pack was a street brawler forged by Dodge to dominate the asphalt with no mercy. Its 440 cubic inch V8, armed with 3 two-barrel carburetors, unleashed a ferocious 385 horsepower, rocketing to 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds and the quarter mile in 14.2 seconds. A lightweight hood secured with pins instead of hinges showcased its racing pedigree, while a 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic transmission gave it the muscle to back its bark. The car's rugged suspension and wide tires kept it planted during high-speed runs, a true warrior on the strip. Back then, this speed was unreal. Not much by today's standards, but in '71, it was a drag strip king that left Camaros and Mustangs choking on dust. A gearhead in Illinois told me his cousin raced one against a souped-up Camaro, winning by a car length, the V8's roar shaking the strip as the crowd went absolutely wild. Still a story told at local diners over coffee. American racers would have worshipped its raw power on quarter-mile runs, and Japan's car meets would have showcased its rugged, no-nonsense design at a Sapporo event, parked proudly next to JDM Legends. Dodge's focus on flashier models like the Charger overshadowed it. despite its brutal performance and bold lines. The SuperBee's minimalist grille, aggressive stance, and interior with bucket seats and a tachometer kept the driver in command, a car built for speed over style. Emissions rules and the muscle era's decline pushed it into obscurity, leaving it a forgotten beast with a V8 heart that still beats fierce, waiting for someone to resurrect its glory on the streets where it was born to rule with unmatched intensity. Number 3. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 was a sleeper that blindsided the muscle car world with its savage power. Its 455 cubic inch V8, enhanced with the Stage 1 package featuring a hotter camshaft, stiffer valve springs, and larger valves, delivered 360 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and the quarter mile in 13.8 seconds at 101 miles per hour, with a finely tuned unit clocking 13.38 seconds at 105.5 miles per hour. Only 479 GSX versions were crafted out of 3,776 GS455s, making it a rare diamond in Buick's lineup. A 4-speed Muncie manual or 3-speed automatic, paired with a superior oil pump and robust cooling system, gave it the guts to dominate. Back then, this speed was off the charts. Not much by today's standards, but in '70, it was a drag strip monster that stunned the competition into silence. American racers would have loved its torque on the strip, and Japan's enthusiasts would have showcased it at a Kyoto meet, its sleek design and vibrant colors turning heads among JDM royalty. Buick's luxury reputation and the muscle car market's saturation buried it, despite its ferocious performance. The GSX's plush interior with power steering, bucket seats, and a tachometer made it a daily driver with a beastly edge, a car that blended comfort with raw power. This was a machine built to dominate, a forgotten king with a V8 heart that still roars, waiting for someone to reclaim its legacy on the roads where it was born to shine with unmatched glory. Number 2. 1971 Plymouth GTX 440 Plus 6. The 1971 Plymouth GTX 440 Plus 6 was a muscle car that stood tall, refusing to fade as the era dimmed. Its 440 cubic inch V8, equipped with 3 two-barrel carburetors, pumped out 385 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, and the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds at 102 miles per hour. The new fuselage design gave it a curvier, more aggressive look, with a 1-inch shorter wheelbase and a 3-inch wider rear track for rock-solid stability. A 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic, with axle ratios reaching 4.1 to 1, turned it into a launch rocket that devoured the strip. Back then, this speed was unreal. Not much by today's standards, but in '71, it was a drag strip titan that left rivals in awe. A gearhead in Texas told me his uncle raced one against a roadrunner, winning by a nose, the V8's roar echoing as the crowd went wild. A tale still swapped at local car meets. American racers would have lived for its power on the strip, and Japan's car meets would have showcased its bold design at a Nagoya event, its air-grabber hood sucking in air as it turned heads. Chrysler's focus on the Roadrunner overshadowed it, despite its staying power through engine tuning changes. The GTX's revamped interior, with new seats, improved controls, and a plush feel, made it a driver's delight, a car that held firm when others weakened. This was a machine built for glory, a forgotten champ with a V8 heart that still beats strong, waiting for someone to revive its legacy on the streets where it was born to rule with relentless power. Number 1. 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SD 455. The 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SD 455 was a muscle car that defied the era's death knell, claiming the top spot with pride. Its 455 cubic inch V8, upgraded with the SD package for stronger internals, enhanced airflow, and an upgraded oil system, delivered 310 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in under 5.5 seconds, and the quarter mile in 13.8 seconds. Only a handful were made, as emissions laws tightened, but Pontiac's engineers fought tooth and nail to pass tests, proving it belonged with the standard 455 family. Back then, this speed was off the charts. Not much by today's standards, but in '73, it was a drag strip legend that outran Corvettes and Porsches alike. A racer in California said his SD 455 beat a Porsche 911 in a street race, the V8's roar shaking the block as onlookers cheered, a story still told at car shows with reverence. American racers would have worshipped its power on the strip, and Japan's enthusiasts would have showcased it at a Tokyo meet, its sleek design and bold stance stealing the show. Pontiac's defiance against GM's doubts and the muscle era's decline buried it, despite its brilliance. The Firebird's enhanced performance with a 3,854-pound frame and automatic transmission made it a heavyweight champ, proving muscle wasn't dead. This was a machine built to dominate, a forgotten king with a V8 heart that still roars, waiting for someone to reclaim its legacy on the roads where it was born to shine as the ultimate '70s icon. Thank you, folks, for riding with us to the end, reliving these epic muscle car legends. If you've made it this far, you've probably subscribed, right? If not, hit that button now. It means the world. Drop a comment below. Tell us what car topic you want next. From drag strip warriors to hidden gems, we're here to fuel your passion. Please keep supporting us, and let's keep these V8 dreams alive.